All right, all right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let's go ahead and do a mic check and a visual check. If you could, just give me a yes. You can see and hear everything. Hey, baby, good morning. Are you leaving? All right, love you. Bye, Hayden. You guys have a good day. All right, guys. Happy Friday the 13th. What could go wrong, right? Have you guys seen the meme? It's like Friday the 13th, and the guy's kind of smiling, and then he looks and he's like, it's 2020. And it's Friday the 13th. What could go wrong, right? Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. I thought that was pretty funny. Let's go ahead and look at the ES futures. All right, ES futures has basically not gone anywhere since we started here. After Monday's gap, we talked about the price filling and holding above the 38.2 or the 23.6, and this is a bear or bullish consolidation right now. So basically, I am long-term bullish unless 34.93 gets broken. Let me go ahead and show you that. If I were to take a Fibonacci and start with this rally here, I'm going to go ahead and start here and go to the pivot high, and you can see that there. We are holding above the 38.2. Lots of confluence. I've told you this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we got the trendy edge, the pink one. That's a higher time frame. Then we got a trendy edge on the yellow, kind of medium time frame. And then we have some demand down here. And so we have a lot of confluence. And yesterday when we pulled back, let's go ahead and take these fibs off really quick. When we pulled back, we did make a higher low off of this trendy edge. All right. As of right now, the 4 hour, what it's looking like. We got an inside candle. We have 9 EMA support. If we do break the 9 EMA, look for bids to come in at or around 35.37 to 35.32. All right. What I mean by bids, buyers stepping up. It does look choppy now. Now it is getting tighter. So we do need to break above 35.75, and bears need to break below, again, right below the trendy edge here around 35.04. All right. Not concerned though, unless we break below 34.93. It feels like a big setup, doesn't it? I mean, we're going into the weekend and we've completely just went sideways and we have these levels, but at the same time, they're not even getting close to them. They're just kind of trading inside of those. All right, so please keep that in mind. So my long-term trades, I'll be looking at possibly adding today if we can get over pivots. For our short-term stuff, I'll talk about that here in a few minutes and kind of what I'm looking at for today. Again, ES futures kind of tell me, we're not really moving here. You really got to be very particular on the names that you're picking, looking for moves. And that kind of puts us into the China EV space. Those names are moving big time. Let's go ahead and start over here, though, with some names. I'm going to start with AAPL. This is a continuation from the last 2 days. You can see once we broke over the trendy edge, price did move up, but right into this sell pressure candle. Again, looks just like the ES. We are moving sideways here. Neutral levels, please remember these numbers, 120.05. If we can bid over that, then I will be looking for a move higher into 120 and a half, possibly 121.66. And overall, my target on the bull side is 123.24, as long as the trendy edge holds down here at 118.22. So basically, when I say that, what I mean is it's a void on the long side. If we start closing underneath the 118.22, you can also look at that as your risk. And not bad considering we're only trading at 119 and some change. 118.22 is that number that I needed to hold. Okay, so that is AAPL. All right, let's go ahead and look really quick here. We're going to get into our next names. And 1 second here. All right, let's go into DKNG. I did take a position in this yesterday. You might think it sounds, risky. What I did though was um, a spread, and I bought after the Super Bowl, right? So I bought out in February. All right, so I'm buying a call and I'm selling a call against it. And if it starts to move in my favor, what I'll do is buy back that short side, and then I'll just have naked directional to the upside. Let's talk about the trending methodology though, just really quick. One thing I liked, I told the room yesterday, this thing is rounding out here. It had trendy edge support. It came down, it found that level, it moved up. We call this a ACDC if it can get above this red. Now, this is called a decelerator, okay? And notice that price pushed up into my line. This is the resistance for right now. This is the first target, really, if you're taking this closer. If we can close over 46.10, Then I'm looking for that 53 next, and again 55, then 60. This is longer term. I paid out until February. Okay. Shorter term, what we'd be looking for is this nice gap up. Remember what I've been telling you over the last several days? Can it hold about 40% of that gap up? If it does, it's a really healthy consolidation and looking for the move further to continue to the upside. All right. One thing you want to do if you're just trading on intraday, just decrease that time frame from a 4 hour. On a Friday, if you're playing weeklies, very risky, but don't look at anything probably less than um, well, no more than I would say 30 minutes to 1 hour. Time is against you. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on here. So the next one I want to look at is NIO. Now, some of these EV names, it's like, man, what can I do? Are they leaving home without me? Again, just look at the last rally. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at that rally. You can see it's keeping a nice bullish stance here. This is my blueprint for today. Mellow in the yellow between 50.31 and 47.35. Time is against us if you're looking at just playing today. So if it drops in the yellow and it just kind of hangs out in here, nothing to do. All right. If it drops quickly in the yellow and then pushes out of the box, then I'm interested for an intraday trade to 51.91. If we could take out 51.91, obviously we need to take out that pre-market high. And then my overall target here is 54.87 for right now. Okay. Notice it's already come down into our neutral and bounced. Basically, for my traders that like to trade pre-market, and I do too, I just haven't here in the last week or so. But this is where I would typically do a starter, and then if it wraps around and starts to push out through here, then I'll add in and then trim at my targets above. Okay. And that is NIO. Let's go ahead and go to the next one here. We're going to look at, what do you guys want to look at? We looked at DKNG, looked at NIO, we looked at Apple. There's quite a few that I've already pushed on here. UNH, we took that trade yesterday. It's looking good this morning. We trimmed we got out of the naked directionals. Then I got into a spread. I trimmed twice in that spread. And now what I'm looking for is just holding a runner and see if we can continue up. This one, let's go ahead and read the notes here. Okay, zoom in right there. UNH trimmed 2 times, just set an alert on the runner. But if you're babysitting this last piece, meaning the last couple contracts or whatever you're holding, we need to hold 350 on today's close. That means a daily candle. I like to see it close above 350. My alert is set for 361.38. This will be resistance. If it breaks and holds over this, then you can see UNH pushing up into 364 and then that previous high of 371. All right. All right, next, let's go ahead and look at ZM. Funny, right? How price moves quickly. They talk about COVID stuff, and then the next day they bring it back. All right. And so a lot of people sit here bag holding and so forth. The premiums are just too high on some of these COVID plays. So what I'm doing is I'm doing spreads, right? I did a spread. Doesn't look like it's going to work out unless we get some bids to come in this morning. The big thing this morning, if it comes down into this bull channel, probably pushes from here. So just like I showed you on the neutral play, if price pulls into here, look for buying to come in. If it comes in, look for 10 to 30 minute candles. If we go inside, stops go in. Nice little, not too tight because this is a big name, but then looking for the move up and possibly into 428. So this could be one where you want to see it go red this morning, pull back into that yellow. And for you lotto traders, right? We don't call them lottos here in Trendy Trading. We call them low probability trades. So for you low probability traders, when it dips into this yellow, then we could be looking to buy an upward strike at or around that 428 to 430. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and look into Nvidia. All right. I did take Nvidia yesterday. Same thing. I did a spread on this. Okay. And for anybody that doesn't understand what I'm talking about really quick, let me see if I can pull it up. And they do have earnings next week. Okay. And let's go over here into our complex trendy options. I'm going to bring this down. And you can see here, there's my DKNG spread. I got some McDonald puts, UNH trims. You can see that 27%, 40%, Took a loss on a second trim on Netflix, but we actually made money overall. Here's a NVIDIA right here. So this is the NVIDIA trade that I took on. Now this is quite out of the money, but what I like about these spreads during these volatile times is that it's a very small risk, but a big return if I'm getting priced to get into that spread. Okay, so I'm looking for an earnings play. I'll buy the put side of the earnings today. So this is what I like to do only around my levels though. Okay, so on the call side, I bought the 605 and sold the 610. All right, and you can see right here I paid 70 cents. I can't remember exactly what that pays out, but you could take a look and you would see that. All right, all right. So what are we looking for today? All right, look, this is an AC/DC setup here at the Trendy Room. What we're looking for is this pink line, 564. All right, as long as these green arrows can hold. And you can see if I open that up, those green arrows come in at 542.64. All right, it's also in line with the 4-hour 9 EMA. If I open this up and I zoom in, you could see that. This is the 9 EMA right here. This is price. If price pulls back, look for buyers to step in here. Okay. All right, pretty straightforward. Any questions about NVIDIA? I think we're pretty straight on that. Okay. HD, what do we got ER on that? Let's see. Coming in on 11/17. Nice. So Tuesday. Definitely, we will talk about ER on this, Jared. So if you look at it, man, we're in the middle of the curve, right, between the edges. And so really, if this were any other time, I'd be saying, hey, we're bidding off of that decelerator. If we could break above the, accelerator, we're looking for the ME, right? So this is going to actually make it pretty simple. My first look at this on ER, I'm looking for probably 305 to 310. And then possibly to the downside, we're just looking for about 265 to 260. And I take that back, sorry. So to the upside, I'm looking for 288 by 295. Okay. But those are the numbers for right now, but we'll step in, take a closer look on Monday before earnings. All right. Again, middle of the curve. You can see it's just sideways trade for right now. Okay. Iron condors are definitely for traders that like iron condors. You can use the edges as well. And basically, what we do on a sideways trend, you're selling to open, collect the premium, um, or manage if one breaks out to either side. Okay. Again, I won't go into too big of details there, but if you're interested, you can always find some information on YouTube or you can come check us out. All right. So next one, anybody have anything else? Come on, you guys got to have more on there. Let's see, EASE, EZ. Is that an actual ticker? Nope. Oh, he's at Belize. I'm not sure what he's saying. McDonald's. All right, so slight gap up here. What I'm looking for the downside, this is kind of like a hedge, right? You guys all know that I'm net long. I have several positions long, just like I was right before the big announcement, before Monday, and I capitalized on that. So I'm net long. I have a couple put debit spreads to the downside. What I'm looking for in McDonald's here, if it stays underneath this trendy edge, I'd like to see it come into 205 to 200. All right, so on a higher time frame, if we go into the weekly, you can see down here we have some buyers resting, and some people like to use volume profile and so forth. Honestly, you get like the same numbers just using structure instead of making things too complicated. But we have some buyers right in this area right here, okay, around 200. So I really like to see, and I said this yesterday when I sent this out, that we could see a nice bounce here. Besides, actually falling. So I need price to stay underneath the trendy edge here. Okay. And again, I like to come right into this area right there. All right, let's get into the EV stuff. Let's look at NIO. All right, how do you trade this thing, right? Close at 48.30, it's at 51. We're going to go to a smaller time frame. If you're interested in higher time frames, you could see 54 to 55 within the next week. 55 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 to 55 wit But let's go into today and just get an idea of how we would like to trade something like this. Now, I'm going to make this really simple and mechanical. It doesn't mean you're going to make money on it. But you can see here, I gave the members my neutral strategy. Prices come down into here, 50.31 by 47.35. What I'm looking for, you want to start here, okay, right where this candle came into. And then you want to see if it can get over this pivot. You could add in, and a nice controlled environment when you're taking trades, which I really like, is you have to have a plan. So if your plan is starters here, I don't care if it's contracts or if it's equity, okay? And then your ads here, what you do is if your stop was down here, kind of giving you some breathing room, you're going to bring that stop up to underneath your next level. Okay, not right under it, that would be ridiculous, but just under it, all right, where you're comfortable, probably under a 9 EMA that you're using for an intraday trade. As we add here and things start to work out for us and we take out the pre-market high, boom, take that stop, move it up again, and then just ride it. Trim, ride, trim to target. All right. So NIO, again, 50.31 by 47.35. Now that's a higher risk for an intraday trade. So again, I would pick a 9 EMA on a time frame that makes sense on a Friday for an intraday trade. And again, somewhere between 10 minutes, 5 minutes, all the way up to an hour. For me, nothing more than that on an intraday trade. Okay. All right, let's look at Tesla. All right, so someone's interested here, longer term. So if we come into the weekly, this is kind of a lot like poker for ES, man. This is just a sideways trade right now. Honestly, you could have been selling these iron condors left, right, and center and making some pocket change during this time if you are into strategic options. I've given you the green box and the red box before earnings. Price came down into that green box. This is where you execute that long-term trade. Okay. This is where you execute that long-term trade. You trade it up into the trendy edge. This is where you trim, 382 into, 454, 452. Not a bad trade. Depends on what you're looking for. All right. So longer term, you could see here, we could throw some shape onto it if you like. All right. And you could do something like that. All right. And if we break out above the resistance point, which is 454, I'd expect a nice pop in at 81 by 503. All right. And from there, we'll get yourself some extension targets. I'm not going to do that right now. But again, this was the area to try that long-term approach. Now, when we say long-term, me personally, you got to look at it in sections. You should never like throw all your eggs into one basket on the first entry. That's just my opinion. So you start here, you add above this red mark, and then I give you extension targets and so forth. Okay. Or you start here and then you add down here at my alerts. Okay. And then we look for another add down here at 206. Sounds crazy. Now that's long term. That's like a 50% haircut. All right. So that's Tesla. All right. Some other names that do have my attention today. Let's go ahead and talk about that. XPEV, another EV. All right, look at this one. How in the heck do you chase this stuff, right? Just kind of open up, whatever. Look, just take the last couple chaotic candles. We're going to measure those. As long as price can hold above 41.78, I like this for a touch of 48.44. How do I get targets to the upside? In this case, because the weekly ATR is really moving here, I'm going to actually use my Fibonacci extension. I'm only going to use this week's candle, not the last two. I'm going to go ahead and find some targets here. And I'm going to use the 23, and then I'm going to come up here to the 50. All right, and so this is going to be my target, 52 by 59 on XPEV. And again, okay, again, if what level can hold, these chaotic candles come into here, boom, somewhere around 41.80. Okay, and you can mark that on your chart. 41.80 holds. We good for the upper. If it comes back into 41.80, probably a nice little starter there. Okay. All right. So the next one here, let's go ahead and look over at ADSK. Believe we had an upgrade here. This thing's on fire as well. 253, closed at 245 yesterday. There are names out there moving, and as I said earlier, market looks sideways, but there are a few that are moving nicely. Look, When you have strong stocks, like I was saying yesterday, if it's trending up and it's holding above those levels I give you, it's usually a buying opportunity. It's not until we start closing underneath those levels on a higher time frame that we start to get concerned. All right? If you could just remember that and try not to over allocate, trading will become easier for you. It's when you over allocate, you don't have a plan, things are going to get really difficult. All right? Let's go ahead and clear the drawing set here on ADSK. All right, and let's go ahead and get some numbers. All right, first of all, Trendy Edge is super important. I don't care that it bounces up. It's at 253. Your resistance for right now is 263. All right, so when we think of risk to reward in this scenario, I want 251 to hold. If 251 can hold, I'm looking for 263. That's a plan. 251 holds, I'm looking for 263. Somewhere between there is where I buy my strikes, or I buy my stock. All right. Now above that, where can we go to? Very important. Pull out the Fibonacci extension. Why are we using Fibonacci extension? Because there is nothing to the left. There's nothing for me to gauge where there's sellers. Okay. So we have to use these numbers. What I want to do in this case, I'm going to use this last rally. I'm going to come up to here. And this is what we're going to find as far as extension targets go. Okay, so right into this level here. So longer term, 290 to 300 makes sense, right? We get over that 250 mark. If we can hold that 251 level, the market likes round numbers, 290 to 300. We look over here at the weekly ATR. That's about 20 bucks. So if we go 20, 40, 60, 80, how long is that going to take us to get to 290, 300? Well, according to this, it could take us about 3 weeks to a month. But you have to understand structure. So if candles are moving up, we're probably going to go inside a week or two for digestion and then a move up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, all hypothetical, but as long as that level holds that I gave you, that's what we could see. Okay. All right, another one here that I want to look at, COST. We've been talking about it in the room so many times, and it just keeps moving. It's strong. Costco, we know, man, has been like a huge player during COVID, during hurricanes, which we've seen a lot of those this year. It's just, you can see the moves off the trendy edge. The blue trendy edges are for our longer swing trades. So same thing, you take your trade over this um, and you start to look to the upside. From here, I would like to see a bigger picture on Costco. So I'm actually going to go from this rally into this pivot high to give you some upper targets. All right, and I'm going to give you some numbers here. We're not going to go all the way to the 50. We're going to do 23, 38, and 50 to the upside. And what I'd like to see, these are my numbers. If we can get above the trendy edge, 381 and a quarter, and hold that, I'm looking for these. And the infamous 420, we've been talking about this for a year. It's been really funny, and it's actually worked. A lot of these bigger names like 420. See, Elon was trying to tell us something, wasn't he? I think so. All right, JD. Let's go ahead and look at JD. And then once I get done with JD, we got about 7 minutes left. I'm going to go ahead and be quiet and get everything ready. All right, so here was JD's first. This was our blueprint from weeks and weeks ago. You can see here, once it moved over the trendy edge, it was on fire. It moved up from this level of 84 all the way into 92. A lot of members in here, besides myself, did really well trading this. And you can see it came into this again. I gave you Fibonacci extensions. You can see how well these work. But here's the thing, guys. You got to know where to place them, and we teach that. And in my opinion, I have the best levels out there. So look for this here. It's at 90. Okay, it's at 90. So what does that mean? Let's get this out of the way. I'll show you something really cool. All right, we're going to take that pivot high. We're going to take that pivot low. Higher numbers to the upside. We're at 90. We are over the 618. That means of this move down, we have broken above the golden Fibonacci level, which tells me that now we are back in that uptrend. All right, we're back in that uptrend, and now we're above the 76. And if we flip that, we're on the bullish side of the channel right here. As long as 89.20 can hold, we're looking for 91 and then a touch of the ATH again at 92. Now, where does that put us for Fibonacci extensions now? Simply, I'm going to use this wide range body. I'm going to go ahead and get myself an upper target, just like this. This is a momentum stock. I believe it can move big. Where does that put us? Even number 100. 95s by 100, couple weeks out if you like spreads. And again, needs to hold that upper level that I gave you. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. If you like these videos, please like it. One thing that I want to do is I need to gauge. If you like the information and you're coming to watch every morning, because I could see people are on here, if you like it, it gives me the energy to want to come back. If you're not liking it and you're just kind of whatever, then I won't waste my time doing it. But again, thank you so much. Check us out at TrendyTrading.co. Have a great Friday. It's happy Friday the 13th. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you back here on Sunday.